Canada faces a difficult choice: Mark Carney or Pierre Poilievre. At first glance, the answer seems obvious. But what seems obvious isn't always true. Today, we'll calmly and methodically take a closer look at Mark Carney, who he is, what he's done, what roles he's played. No judgments, no emotions, just facts. The goal is simple: to understand the kind of resource we're dealing with, so that in the end, we can ask the real question. In this video, I'm going to take a closer look at who Mark Carney is, not just by his public image, but through the logic behind his decisions. To do that, we'll focus on the three key positions he held during his career. Governor of the Bank of Canada, 2008, 2013, Governor of the Bank of England, 2013-2020. Vice Chair at Brookfield Asset Management since 2020. This isn't about opinions or labels. It's about understanding the kind of person he is by looking at how he acted in each of these roles. The Bank of Canada is the country's central bank, an independent institution responsible for implementing monetary policy and ensuring financial system stability. It operates in coordination with the Department of Finance Canada, which at the time was led by Jim Flaherty. During the 2008 global financial crisis, interest rates were lowered, liquidity support programs were introduced, systemically important banks received backing. Decisions were made in collaboration with the federal government. Carney was responsible for carrying out the monetary side of the response. He operated within an existing framework. The plan was approved. He executed it. The Bank of England is the United Kingdom's central bank, responsible for monetary policy, financial stability, and inflation control. Carney took office in 2013. He applied the same methods that had proven effective in Canada. One of his first moves was to introduce forward guidance, an assurance that interest rates would not rise until unemployment dropped below 7%. At first, this helped stabilize market expectations, but by 2016 its influence had faded. Markets began ignoring the bank's signals. Key challenges during his tenure: rising inflation 2017-2019, Brexit and economic instability, the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, lack of flexibility in policy response. In this context, Carney was expected to deliver new solutions, but he continued to rely on the playbook from 2008. Instead of crafting an independent strategy, he aligned with IMF recommendations, followed G7 and G20 positions, and acted more in response to external pressure than internal analysis. As a result, no new models were proposed. No long-term strategy was implemented. Policy became reactive, maintaining momentum without clear direction. This highlights a lack of executive independence and an inability to adapt to shifting conditions. At the same time, Carney began promoting broader global themes: sustainable development, ESG, central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. These initiatives entered public discussion but were never implemented. They marked a shift away from real domestic challenges toward popular, globally acceptable narratives. In the end, Carney failed to withstand the pressure. He offered no real solutions, and rather than acknowledging mistakes, he retreated into formal populism at the level of global messaging. Brookfield Asset Management is a global investment company managing over $1 trillion in assets. Since 2020, Carney has served as vice chair and head of transition investing. His responsibilities include representing the company on the international stage, advising on ESG policy, managing public image and alignment with sustainability trends. Carney was not involved in designing the company's financial structures, did not make decisions regarding the use of offshore jurisdictions, was not responsible for the company's tax or legal strategy, paid taxes on his personal income in his own jurisdiction. It's true that in recent years, there has been public discussion around Brookfield's use of funds registered in low-tax jurisdictions. However, Carney's role was that of a public figure and advisor, not an architect of those financial processes. Mark Carney is a high-level executive. He knows how to stabilize a system. He knows how to execute assigned tasks. But he does not adapt easily to new conditions. He does not develop independent strategies. He is guided by external positions, not internal analysis. He does not revisit past mistakes, but shifts focus to trend-driven areas, ESG, digital currencies, climate forums. This is not a personal weakness, it's a management type. The goal of this video is not to judge, but to understand clearly. Mark Carney is a resource, a professional executor, but he becomes truly effective only when paired with a strategist. Which brings us to the question, does Pierre Poilievre have that kind of resource on his team? If not, that's a problem. If yes, that's an opportunity. In the next video, we'll talk about Pierre Poilievre, and we'll take this question even further. Thank you for watching. See you next time.